We are, as a people, inherently and historically opposed to secret society, opposed to secret oaths, opposed to secret proceedings, secret proceedings. No official of my administration, whether his rank is high or low, should interpret my words here tonight as an excuse to censor the news, to stifle dissent, to cover up our mistakes, or to withhold from the press and the public the facts they deserve to know.
Welcome to Conspiracy Corner Podcast. This is Abe, your host. Today is, let's see what today is. July 22nd. Got to get an oil change tomorrow. It has been a strange ass week for me. Yesterday, I was going to do a podcast. But I woke up to my wife literally coming into the room going, "Honey, wake up." And I'm like, oh, that's never good. I cut myself pretty bad. And I'm like, fuck. So I just wake up, sit up, and she's like, shows me her finger, and you can literally see the guts inside. Apparently she was cutting an avocado, hit the pit, and somehow it slipped, and she was cutting it in her hand, which is like, dude, we got cutting boards, man. And I had just said the night before we were watching Cinnamon Toast Ken. We were watching, I don't know, they were like laughing at some Irish cook who like, I don't know, you'd have to check out their channel to kind of get their sense of humor, but she was cutting stuff in her hands, and I was like, dude, my mom used to do that, and my mom used to cut herself all the fucking time doing it. I'm like, why don't you use a cutting board? I remember being like 5 years old, just kind of like, use a cutting board, idiot. Like, I don't know. I love my mother. We're estranged, but it's like, dumbass. Use a fucking cutting board. And I remember telling my wife about this the night before. And I don't know, she felt like cutting an avocado in her hand and slicing the fuck out of her hand. So then, of course it's like 8 o'clock at night, and I leave the house at like 9:30. So I'm like, well, I don't know, like, you're not dying, you haven't been shot, your liver's not failing, you're not dying, so like, do you want me to go with you? Because I gotta go to work, dude. You know? She's like, I'll be all right. So she drove off, you know, and she got her best friend or whatever at work, and they went to the hospital, and in the hospital she passes out. And then wakes up, and so the next thing I know, like, it's like 9 o'clock at night. You know, and they finally roll in, and I'm like, I hear her and another girl's voice, and I'm like, what the fuck? Luckily, I was dressed and shit because I was ready to go to work, but it's like, you can't be just rolling people up in here, dude. I walk around naked, man. But, yeah, so that was the weirdness of yesterday. And then I felt bad because it's like, I figured she'd be all right, but apparently when she was in the hospital room, like, the doctor came in and he's like, all right, let me see your cut. And she took it off, and it started squirting blood everywhere. Like projectile squirt, you know. But it wasn't doing that, you know, for me or the other person. Like, so I don't know if it just, like, ruptured a vein or I don't know. But yeah, then I felt bad, but it was just kind of one of them weird, awkward, like in between situations of like, do I go with you? Do I stay at home? Like, I don't know. It was just like, you're not dying, so it was funny though when she first came up there. She's like, what do I do? And I'm like, do you want to know what I would do? Because I'm very old school liberal, like my body, my choice. What I would do would pour peroxide on it, dry it, and then just super glue it. I'm like, but we don't have super glue, so I'm gonna have to go to Dollar General or Walmart, you know. Um, and she's like, yeah, I'm going to the hospital. I'm like, that's what I thought because I'm kind of a fucking pirate, dude. Like, I don't give a shit about my body. I used to be a punk rock singer, you know, so it's like we're very self-destructive people. Physically and mentally. But yeah, that was yesterday, and then I told you the last podcast that we went out or we were going to go out to celebrate Sammy's birthday. So we went to Shakertown. We did a 2 mile trail, got lost because they suck at making signs on the trail, and their maps suck also. They need to update that shit or something, or I don't fucking know. But we got lost, but we did it's called the Meadow Trail, and it was cool. It was nice. It was peaceful, relaxing. And then we went out to eat. We went out to Cheddar's, and she was craving catfish. So we went to like 2 other restaurants before trying to find this poor girl some catfish. And I remembered back in the day when we first started dating, we went to Cheddar's, which was in Danville, and I lived right up the road from it. It was a brand new spanking restaurant, you know. Um, and I thought she ate catfish, but apparently it was just like fried whitefish, but I don't know. I had coconut shrimp for the first time. I'd never had it. It's super sweet, but I think I didn't actually like it. I ate like half of it and didn't like it, but I don't think it was the shrimp. I think it was the sauce. They put like, because coconut shrimp is like literally battered in coconut. Um, and they had like a super sweet sauce. And I was just like, dude, I feel like I'm eating like pancakes over here. Like this is just too sweet, man. And then like I saved it and took it home and I ate it with just like regular like tartar sauce because that's all I had in the fridge. And I was like, oh, like this, it's the coconut shrimp itself is sweet. You don't need to do it with a sweet sauce. You need to do it with something like cocktail sauce or like I don't know, red pepper remoulade, something like that, you know. Uh, but yeah, it was good stuff. We went out to eat, you know, went and hiking and all that fun jazz. So I think she had a good birthday. Um, but yeah, that's about it as far as updates. That was our crazy week. Uh, but yeah, today we are going to be getting into Lockstep. All right, man. We've covered Conplan 8888. We've covered Cyber Polygon. We've covered Event 201. All of this stuff has been planned for years. And this, we are going back further. So, like, okay, first of all, check out Event 201 episode. Check out Complan 8888 episode. I feel like I've been knocking these motherfuckers out of the goddamn park, personally. You know, I'm hitting hard, you know, we're going hard in the paint. You know, I've been trying to do like a hard episode, giving you the fucking truth of what's fucking going on right now in general. The stuff that's important that you all should be paying attention to, that we all, me included, should be paying attention to of what's going to happen, what's down the road with this Agenda 21 bullshit, right? And then I feel like I try to give you guys a little break, though, and give you guys, like, a fun episode afterwards. Like, so the next episode will be a silly episode that you could just sit back, light up a cigarette, light up a joint, crack open a beer, whatever the fuck gets your giggles off, and you can just kind of chill and have fun. But we have to do these episodes, man, because there is so much shit going on right now that keeps coming out and coming out and coming out. I would love to podcast full time. I would put out 3 or 4 podcasts a day. You see what I'm saying? To give you guys the info of what's going on, because it's coming out so fast and so quick since like 2019. It's hard to keep up, man. There ain't no rest for the wicked. And these wicked people do not rest. This plan is in full gear now. But we are covering Lockstep. And it was basically created by the Rockefeller Foundation. And it was a plan for what's going on right now. So pay attention. I found basically someone, because you can download the PDF. It's like 1,000 pages or something crazy like that, or 200 pages. So, I mean, if you got the time and you got the time, you can sit down and read a whole book. Go for it. But I found someone who kind of summarized it into a small little summary of what it is, and that's what I'm going to share with you all. All right, so buckle in. All right, so let's get down to the nitty-gritty. This is Rockefeller Lockstep 2010 was blueprint for COVID, or for 2020 CV-19 pandemic. The COVID plan, Rockefeller Lockstep 2010. They hypothesize a simulated global outbreak requires steps, various phases, overall timelines, and expelled outcomes. This was posited in the Rockefeller Lockstep in 2010. And this is summarized. Create a very contagious but super low mortality rate virus to fit the needed plan using SARS, right there, SARS HIV hybrid research strain created at Fort Detrick. Pay attention to that, Fort Detrick. Look into that shit right there, Fort Detrick. And it's spelled Fort, D-I-E, like diet, rich. Class 4 lab from 2008 to 2013 as part of a research project to find out why coronaviruses spread like wildfires in bats, but have an extremely hard time infecting humans. To counteract that, they added 4 HIV inserts into the virus. Nice. So that's why you have these people who are getting tested after getting the jab, and coming up positive for HIV. The missing key to infect the human is the ACE2 receptor. Create a weaponized version of the virus with a much higher mortality rate as a backup plan. Kind of like a variant, like the D variant. Ready to be released in phase 3, but only if needed. SARS, HIV, and MERS weaponized tribit strain created at Fort Detrick Class 4 lab in 2015. During Obama's administration, I believe, or he might have been 2016, I could be wrong. Transport the research strain to a different Class 4 lab, the National Microbiology Lab in Winnipeg, Canada, and have it, quote, stolen and smuggled out by China, unquote. Zhejiang Li on purpose and taken to China's only Class 4 lab, which would be the Wuhan Institute of Virology in Wuhan, China, for added plausible deniability and to help cement the wanted backup public script as something to fall back on if needed. There you go. And this is all 2010, by the way. The primary script being its natural backup script, being that China created it and released it by accident. Oops! Fund all the talking heads, Fauci, Birx, Tedros, and agencies, the WHO, NIAID, and CDC, and also the UN that would be involved with pandemic response prior to the planned release of the research strain to control the wanted script throughout the operation. By the way, if you hear scratching, that's my kitty. And it's his first birthday today. We gave him like a little tiny hen just to himself. Sammy cooked it for him, so. Alright. Create and fund the vaccination, development, and rollout plan so it's capable of being rolled out on a global scale. Gates, A Decade of Vaccines in the Global Action Vaccine Plan, 2010 to 2020. Create and fund the vaccination, verification, and certification protocols. Digital ID, Mark of the Beast 666. To enforce confirm the vaccination program after the mandatory rollout is enacted. Gates ID 2020. Simulate the Lockstep hypothesis just prior to the planned research strain release using a real-world exercise as a final wargame to determine expected response timelines and outcomes. Event 201 in October 2019. And like I said, you're going to want to listen to that episode. I will leave a link at the end. You can check it out. It'll be in the credits. When the credits hit, you can click on it if you're on YouTube. If you are not on YouTube and you're an audio listener only, please go to YouTube. Just find Conspiracy Corner Podcast. The profile picture is a little bunny rabbit as a samurai, slaying some motherfuckers. And subscribe, dude. It helps us out, man. It helps me out. And you can talk to me personally there. If you are a visual-only listener, but you want to be an audio listener, you can also do that. Because some people do prefer that because they work, jobs like me to where they have to listen on their cell phone with headphones, and it drains less battery. You can find us on Spotify, Breaker, Google Podcast, Radio Public, Anchor. But yeah. And if you do listen to us audio only, I get paid like a penny per episode. So someday I would like to get enough money I can buy a splicer. That'd be kind of nice. Release the research strain at the Wuhan Institute of Virology itself, and then blame its release on a natural scapegoat as the wanted primary script. Wuhan wet market. So there you go. The blame, the scapegoat. November 2019. Exactly the same as the simulation. Downplay the human-to-human transmission for as long as possible to allow the research strain to spread on a global scale before any country can lock down, respond to avoid initial infection. Once a country has seen infection in place, lockdown, incoming, outgoing travel, keep the transmission within the country spreading for as long as possible. There you go. Lock it down. Keep it in. Once enough people in a country, region are infected, enact forced quarantines, isolation for that area, and expand the lockdown regions slowly over time. Overhype the mortality rate by tying the research strain to deaths that have little to nothing to do with the actual virus to keep the fear and compliance at a maximum. So there you go. The media comes into play. Hype it up. Hype it up. If it bleeds, or hang on, I'm trying to remember. Yeah, if it bleeds, they read something. There's some weird fucking media quote they use. If anyone dies for any reason and is found to have COVID, consider it as a COVID death. And if anyone is thought to be maybe had symptoms of COVID, assume they have COVID and consider it as a COVID death. Oh, my father was suicidal. He blew his brains out. Yeah, but they tested his dead body. He had COVID, so we're just going to mark it as COVID. That's how they smudge the numbers, ladies and gents. That's how they smudge the numbers. Keep the public quarantines for as long as possible to destroy the region's economy. Yeah, there you go. Destroys ma and pa business, small economy. create civil unrest, BLM, Antifa, break down the supply chain, and cause start of mass food shortages. I already told you in the last episode. Check out the last episode I put out. They're starting this shit. There's literally food. They're making farmers waste food. It's insane. It's insane, dude. Check out Ice Age Farmer. He gets into that. As well as cause people's immune system to weaken due to lack of interaction with other people's bacteria. Gee, you fucking think? AKA the things that keep our immune systems alert and active. Dude, they used to have chicken pox parties. When someone's kid in the neighborhood would have chicken pox, they'd literally have a party and all the kids would go and play. So they could all get chicken pox together. Like, come on, people. This is natural. This is how it's supposed to work. Downplay and attack any potential treatments and continue to echo that the only cure that is viable to fight the virus is vaccines, which means basically destroy any other treatments as far as hydroxychloroquine, shit like that. I'm not surprised if I get a fucking strike for this video. I'm not surprised, but I don't feel like censoring. Continue to drag out the quarantine over and over again in 2-week intervals. There is that 2-week spell casting again. It is a CIA program, causing more and more people to eventually stand up and protest, defy them. And here's the key part to now. And that reminds me of the whole, that was 2 weeks to flatten the curve. It's what, like we're going on like a year and a half now, people? Wake up, man. Let's start doing something, man. Let's start doing something. And here is the key part to now. Eventually, in phase 1 quarantine, once they get enough public pushback, expected June 2020, and publicly state that they think it's too early to end the isolation, but I'm always going to do it anyways. Once the public go back to normal, wait a few weeks and continue to overhype the research strain mortality rate, August to September 2020, and combine it with the increase in deaths due to people dying from standard illnesses at a higher rate than normal due to having highly weakened immune systems from months of being in isolation, which backs up what I said. You should social distance. People who wear a mask regular, that's what they've told you. They have a highly weakened immune systems. To help further pad the mortality rate and also hype the up and coming phase 2's lockdown. Eventually, enact phase 2 quarantines, October through November 2020, or an even more extreme level, blame the protesters, mostly people who don't trust their governments already, as the cause of the largest second wave, whereby the media will say, "We told you so. It was too early. It's all your own fault because you needed a haircut. Your freedoms have consequences." Should this all unfold in this manner, the U.S. election will be canceled, delayed, or suspended. My opinion, how can you vote with phase 2 quarantines? You can't, which is how they do the mail-in voting, which is why, just for YouTube, I'll say this, we had the most safely and secure election. Joe Biden is the greatest president on the face of the earth. Nothing fishy going on there. Wink, wink. Enforce phase 2 quarantines at a much more extreme level, increasing the penalty for defiance. Replace fines with jail time. We're already starting to see that if you use alternative websites like BitChute or DuckDuckGo as an engine. Deem all travel as non-essential. Increase checkpoints, including military assistance. Oh, that sounds beautiful. That doesn't sound anything like World War II. Increase tracking, tracing after population via mandatory app. Mandatory app? Dude, if you make me download a mandatory app, I'm literally going to smash my fucking phone and not pay a bill. It doesn't matter. It makes me richer, bitcher. Take over control of food, gas, and create large-scale shortages so that people can only get access to essential products or services if they are first given permission. keep the Phase 2 lockdown in place for a much longer period of time than the Phase 1 lockdown, continuing to destroy the global economy, further degrade the supply chain, and further amplify the food shortages and the like. Quell any public outrage using extreme actions or force, and make anyone who defies them appear as public enemy number one to those who are willing to submit. After a rather long Phase 2 lockdown of 6 months plus, roll out the vaccination program and the vaccine certification and make it mandatory for everyone, giving priority access to those that submitted from the start, and have those that are for it attack those that are against it and say they are a threat and cause all the problems by using words like, we can't go back to normal until everyone takes the vaccine. And people defy them are hurting our way of life and therefore are the enemy. In other words, they're going to turn people against each other. Divide and conquer. And you guys are seeing this right now. If you watch the mainstream media, I don't watch it, but I watch it here and there just to see what these psychopaths are planning. Joe Biden the other day already said, we're having a pandemic of the unvaccinated. You know, basically, they're going to blame the unvaccinated, me and you. They're going to blame us who don't choose to drink the wizard potion. We're going to be the bad guys. I tell you what, man, it's coming down to the point where I believe what Martin Liedeke says. Check out his channel, Flat Earth British Martin Liedeke. It's going to get to the point where it's a division, like almost like a civil war of like unvaxxed and vaxxed. And as soon as one of these SJW fucking brainwashed sheeple kill one of these unvaxxed people, we consider that an act of war. There's hell coming. And I'm coming with them. And I'm worse than hell, motherfucker. You'll see fire and brimstone coming out every pore of my body towards you once you kill one of these people. Once these motherfuckers kill an unvaxxed person because they're unvaxxed, there's hell coming. And there is no mercy at that point, man. You have made an act of war, and you reap what you sow. If the majority of people go along with the agenda, then let those people enter the new system, the new normal, while limiting the minority that defied the agenda's ability to work, travel, and live. If the majority of people go against the agenda, then release the weaponized SARS, HIV, MERS, TRIPIT strain as Phase 3 operation, a virus with 30+% mortality rate as a final scare to punish the minority to quickly become the majority and give a final, we told you so, to those that didn't listen. Nah, I'd rather die. Thank you very much, though. Thank you guys. I appreciate your guys' concern for my health, but nah, I'm good. I'd rather die. Enact the new economy level model. Microsoft patent 060606 cryptocurrency system using body activity data, which is based on human behavior and willingness to submit. It is a tweaked version of the Black Mirror's 15 million merits program using food, water, shelter, and other essentials as a weapon of enforcement of the new economic system. Basically, do what we want and get rewarded. Gain credit scores, and gain more access to things you need to survive. Or go against what we want and get penalized. Lose credit scores and lose access to things you need to survive. Bad boy. Yeah, I'll be a bad boy. I'll die in a gutter. I'll die in a fucking gutter. How about that? I'll die in the woods. I don't give a goddamn, dude. I got a bow and arrow and I got a machete. I'll go out to the woods and be like fucking Link from Zelda. I'll make food. Trust me. I'll make food real quick. And that is your new world order. Technology on steroids where you have no option but to comply. And if anyone thinks that this isn't true, then go and check out some parts of China, because they've already started some of the cryptocurrency system in place in certain areas. So this is the outline of their plan and what we have to stop by outing it in as many places as possible. And also calling out Q and Trump and asking them, are you going to stop this? No, because they aren't. Q was a psyop. Sorry, guys. Mass arrests are irrelevant. This is essential and this has to be blocked. And Trump's already said he's the father of the vaccine. What do you guys think of that? There you go. That's Lockstep. That's been planned since 2010. I actually have one more episode up my sleeve on the SPARS document, because for some reason people keep saying, oh, the conspiracy theorists are crazy, they're wrong. Dude, I have showed you Event 201. I have showed you Con Plan 8888. You know, I've showed you it. I haven't even got into Agenda 21. I haven't actually made an episode on Agenda 21. We can do that next. I mean, it all ties together. The evidence is overwhelming. If you keep calling people conspiracy theorists at this point, we're going to start calling you coincidence theorists. This is planned, people. I don't know. Share this to... The thing is, man, is this is becoming an echo chamber. Like, I got my followers who listen to me, but the thing is, the followers who listen to me are already awake. I need you guys' help. I'm putting out the info, right? But I need you guys to share this shit to people who don't. Here's the best thing I would say. Share it to people who are on the fence. Don't even share it to people who you already know are going to just look at it and go, you're fucking crazy. Don't even share it to sheep. Share it to people who are on the fence. That's the best thing I can tell you to do, man. Because yes, it's awesome you guys are getting information from me. And you guys are sharing information to me in the comment section and talking to me. And I love you guys as, supporters. And I look at you guys as like a tribe. You guys are my tribe, you guys are my group of people, you guys are my friends, I would die for you motherfuckers, right? But I don't want this to become an echo chamber, and I feel like sometimes it's becoming an echo chamber. Share this with squares who are halfway on the fence, okay? All I want to do is make it through this shit on the other end so I can look at you guys and face to face when the apocalypse hits and when there's no internet, because you won't be able to hear my voice very soon when there's no internet and there's no electricity and we're back in medieval times, and I'm a land pirate with a machete and a bow and arrow. I would like to be able to meet you motherfuckers and be like, oh shit, you used to listen to me back when we had electricity? And give you a hug. And eat with you and have dinner with you. And wow. Look at this new world. We won. We won, guys. We won. Maybe it's just dreams, but I can't stop fighting. They're going to have to kill me first.
We are, as a people, inherently and historically opposed to secret society, opposed to secret oaths, opposed to secret proceedings, secret proceedings. No official of my administration, whether his rank is high or low, should interpret my words here tonight as an excuse to censor the news, to stifle dissent, to cover up our mistakes, or to withhold from the press and the public the facts they deserve to know.